This is 9 News Darwin. Good evening and welcome to this special edition of 9 News Darwin. The polls have closed and Territorians have cast their vote to decide whether to grant the Gunner Labor government a second term in power. It's expected to come down to the wire, with no one willing to call what is considered one of the most unpredictable elections in history.
An early start for what could be his last day in the top job.
I think you might find more people at the market.
Michael Gunner giving an insight into his prediction tonight.
I think it will be a late night and a late count tonight before we know what's going on. I do believe it'll be a close contest.
It's been a long 4 years since his resounding victory in 2016, which saw a huge Labor majority, a decimated opponent and predictions of at least 2 terms in office. But fast forward to 2020, the future is less certain. For Michael Gunner personally, it's been a big term. Between a wedding, a baby and a heart attack, professionally, the coronavirus pandemic has been both a battle and a saviour.
The last 6 months has just been just something. We are asking them to choose between secure borders or open borders. We are asking them to choose between jobs, not cuts.
He stuck to his COVID campaign script to the end, albeit a slight slip-up today.
Open borders, not secure borders. Sorry? Secure borders, not open borders? Secure borders, not open borders.
While the NT remains COVID-free, the virus's impact at the booths was obvious. No more than 4 people inside, constant wipe-downs and snaking lines of those who weren't among the more than 75,000 Territorians who voted early. The economy, a big issue for those in Parap.
Job security, probably vote for Gunner.
I think the economy is probably the important one. Getting Darwin back on track, it's probably a change. Yep, voting for a change.
And that's what Mr Gunner's opponents hopes will happen across the NT.
Partly optimistic. We've been really heartened by the level of support from members of the electorate, so we'll see how the day pans out.
Leah Finocchiaro encouraged by the response to her team.
The rest is up to Territorians now and they will decide, but we will wait eagerly for a result.
While for Terry Mills,
99, 2001, 2005.
He hopes his 7th election will be the sweetest of all, gunning to cement his new party in the history books.
If the community want that kind of service and support me in that, that would be very satisfying.
By all accounts, tonight's poll is anyone's guess, one of the more unpredictable elections in the NT in many years. That could see a party forced to negotiate to form a minority government. But that's not an option, according to the Chief Minister.
I won't do any deals. We have to have stability and certainty when it comes to government, especially during a public health emergency. No deals.
The CLP keen to steer away from that discussion.
We're not ruling anything. I'm not speculating, and that's what we've said all along. We are completely focused on winning majority government.
While Territory Alliance appeared to have softened its position.
Out of respect for Territorians who are making a decision about who forms the next government, that's a conversation for another day, not today.
Kathleen Gazzola, 9 News.
Michael Gunner stormed home to victory in a landslide in 2016 as the Territory's first born and bred Chief Minister. Before we find out if Labor will be victorious again, here's a look back at the last 4 years of government.
Elected to victory on a landslide with a remarkable 18 seats, Labor snatched the reins of the Territory from a decimated CLP in August 2016.
Territorians have spoken. Rejected the chaos of the last 4 years and they have chosen to place their trust in Labor.
In the lead up to last polling day, Labor's campaign was all about stability, trust and transparency. It also promised not to put a handbrake on the economy. But just days into governance, a moratorium was placed on fracking while a scientific inquiry was carried out. A year and a half later, the review wrapped up finding the risks of fracking could be mitigated if all 135 regulations were implemented, a result which sparked outrage from some voters.
I supported Gunner before this, but I am disappointed.
Off the back of INPEX, the budget plummeted further into a deep red abyss. The Treasurer handing Territorians a lump of coal just days before Christmas 2018 in the form of a financial report.
We are facing some of the biggest fiscal and economic challenges that the Territory has ever seen.
It revealed the NT was borrowing money to pay public service salaries and cover its interest repayments. And if it continued that way, the Territory would be drowning in $35 billion worth of debt by 2030. The eye-watering figures were hard to swallow for many, with 3 Labor members criticising their own government for mishandling funds.
I do predict that myself, Scott McConnell and Jeff Collins will be booted out of the Labor Party, and if that happens, democracy has lost the plot and the Territory Labor Party have lost the plot.
Another issue the Gunner government has struggled with is its perceived soft-on-crime approach.
We want people to realise that this is not an easy task, and we are doing everything we can to make the Territory safer.
Government has implemented youth diversion programs such as First Steps and Back on Track, and after months of deliberations it finalised a location for the new multi-million-dollar Darwin Youth Detention Centre. It'll be built 300 metres away from Holt's Prison, despite recommendations in the 2016 Royal Commission advising against it. The arrival of the pandemic earlier this year did see a decrease in antisocial behaviour, but it has plunged the NT further into debt, with Michael Gunner forecasting an $8.2 billion in the red. As to who will be in charge to steer the NT out of the fiscal crisis, we'll find out soon enough. Ellie Conway, 9 News.
Let's go live now to Kathleen Gazzola at Leania Primary. She's joined by Deputy Chief Minister Nicole Menison. And Kathleen, I imagine a pretty big night ahead for Labor.
Yes, PT, you are not wrong, and Nicole Madison is right here beside me. Nicole, how was today at the polling booth?
Well, I had a lot of positive feedback, but I am in the greatest electorate here in the Northern Territory, the seat of Wanguri. It's been lovely to speak to lots of constituents over the last few weeks, and I'm hoping that I get the honour of being their member for a 3rd term in a row.
We saw during this campaign Labor talking a lot about coronavirus. Do you regret that decision, given we heard today from a lot of voters that the economy and jobs were a major issue for their vote today, and Labor really didn't seize that opportunity to ram home the economic plan that you have?
Well, the number one issue at the front of people's minds is coronavirus. So we had to speak about it, and the fast and decisive action that we took to keep people safe and protect their jobs, and how we are going to rebuild the Northern Territory and the economy out of this global pandemic and crisis. We've got some amazing plans for the future when it comes to jobs and the economy, and we are determined to continue driving forward with them. But there is no doubt that coronavirus was the biggest issue that people were talking about this election.
Thank you so much for your time. And as you said, PT, a big night ahead. Whether Labor gains a 2nd term, is plunged into minority, or perhaps could lose government altogether. I'll be live at the Labor camp tonight.
Thank you, Kathleen. And Nicole has certainly got her fingers crossed, no doubt. Well, it was the surprise edition of a new party that threw a spanner in the works of Territory politics, with many voters looking for a clear alternative to Labor and the CLP. It's anyone's guess how Territory Alliance will poll tonight.
He's the former Chief Minister who's keen to reclaim the top job.
It's been a journey, and I'm trusting Territorians will support this change.
A CLP stalwart of 20 years, Terry Mills' divorce from the party went down in the history books, knifed while on a diplomatic mission to Japan in 2013 after just 7 months in the top job. He left politics and returned in 2016, elected as an independent. He formed the Territory Alliance Party in November last year on a promise to be the voice of all Territorians.
Taking an approach that is about problem solving rather than trying to win elections.
Since then, a suite of high-profile candidates have joined the party fold, among them his former Deputy Chief Minister Robin Lamley and the former Labor MLA for Fong Lim, Jeff Collins.
It gives us the opportunity to shake up the way we've been governed.
It wasn't long before the party tried to snap up opposition status. After just a couple of days, the trio were outmanoeuvred by Leah Finocchiaro, who gathered the support of the independents in a surprise ballot in Parliament to retain the title.
God help the Northern Territory.
But the party's most controversial move to date is unveiling its ban fracking policy, a move no one expected, given Mr Mills had publicly stated his support for onshore gas in the past. Instead, he says there should be a focus on other industries such as horticulture and renewables to rebuild the economy.
At the end of the day, it's going to have to be a draw upon that trust once again. But I can assure you, you'll not be disappointed.
On one of the NT's biggest issues, Territory Alliance maintains it is the party to reduce youth crime rates, capitalising on the public's perception of a Labor government failing to tackle it. But their overwhelming theme is to take politics back to the grassroots. Whether those politics have won over voters will soon be revealed. Ainsley Kosh, 9 News.
Let's go straight to Ainsley Kosh right now. And Ainsley, it is a familiar feeling, I guess, for the former CLP Chief Minister.
It sure is, PT, and I'm here with the man himself, the leader of Territory Alliance, Terry Mills. Terry, are you feeling confident tonight?
I feel calm. This is my 7th election campaign and the votes are in, and I'm calm now because I can't do anything other than just wait to know what people are thinking, and their decision will be the decision I respond to.
Absolutely, and Territory Alliance has been focusing very heavily on youth crime, as has the CLP this campaign. Do you think that that has resonated with voters, and is that a policy you think will get your party over the line tonight?
That, and the fact that this is an entirely new party that's not even 12 months old. I think that's one important factor here. This is gives people an alternative to the existing situation with Labor and the CLP. However, the Labor government have been thinking that everyone's worried about COVID, but when I visit families here, they are worried about crime, and youth crime in particular.
Absolutely. Well, as Terry just said, a lot of people will be looking for a clear alternative to Labor and the CLP. So whether that will be Territory Alliance, we will find out tonight, PT.
Thank you, Ainsley. An interesting night ahead for Mr Mills, I'm sure. And we did extend an offer to cross live to Leah Finocchiaro tonight, but the CLP leader declined. Now let's take a look at the day's other news, shall we? A new groundwater treatment plant's being constructed in the Katherine Township following the decades-long PFAS scandal. It comes 2 months after a class action lawsuit was settled against the Australian Department of Defence.
When Katherine residents found out their town water was contaminated with firefighting foam, otherwise known as PFAS, they were horrified.
I think people were scared. I think people really weren't sure what it meant, how it would affect their health.
The toxic foam had been used at the Tyndall RAF base for several decades, leaking into the town's groundwater, and Katherine residents were among thousands to join a class action lawsuit against the Australian Department of Defence, which was settled earlier this year.
We do have assets in town that are affected.
But the long-term implications of the PFAS scandal are feared to be long-lasting, affecting business and land values in the area.
People did worry that it would change the property values a lot, but with the new UCVs coming in, it's shown that we've had a slight decrease, like at most places in the country, and it's not a marked increase on most properties.
Power and Water are constructing a trial water treatment plant ready to open by mid-next year to keep drinking water at safe levels.
We managed to re-engineer the plant, fly it over to Katherine via an Antonov, commission it within 3 months. It'll service the community for the next 30 years. It'll provide 10 megalitres a day additional water.
It'll continue to operate until a permanent water treatment plant is constructed. Ainsley Kosh, 9 News.
The mass testing of 700 quarantine hotel workers and their contacts has paid off, with authorities in New South Wales uncovering another security guard with COVID-19. The breakthrough came as case numbers took a sudden jump after yesterday's single infection from 32,000 tests.
A quarantine hotel, the Marriott at Circular Quay, is now itself in quarantine. A security guard infected by 2 returned travellers from the United States prompted mass testing. 700 people, mostly staff, and now a second guard has tested positive.
It's critical that we don't jump to conclusions, but obviously the obvious conclusion is that he may have been exposed to the same virus strain that our first guard was.
Both guards didn't know each other and only once worked on the same shift on August 3.
We can't find an immediate connection between the 2 guards.
Like the first guard, his colleague had other jobs, working at the Sheraton Grand Hyde Park overnight on the 16th of August. And the hotel has been alerted.
We are not in any way sure that he was infectious at that time, but this is a precaution.
Just a day after New South Wales was basking in the news of just 1 new case of COVID, a reality check.
Good morning. 9 new cases of COVID-19 were diagnosed in the 24 hours to 8 o'clock last night.
9 new infections, 1 linked with the Tangara Girls' School at Cherrybrook, 2 with a funeral cluster in the Bankstown area, but more alarmingly, 6 are a complete mystery. They have no known source. One of the cases, a man in his 40s, tested positive at this Cabramatta Health Clinic after showing mild symptoms. Today's 9 new cases were greeted with some concern by health officials, but not a word from the Premier, who probably deserved a day off. But in Queensland, a different state and a different story. They also had 9 new cases, and their leader hit the panic button.
Effective immediately, gatherings in your home will be reduced to 10 people. Gatherings outside, for example in parks, will be limited to 10 people.
On a sunny Saturday in the Sunshine State, the Premier now a party pooper.
One of my friends, she had a pretty big 21st on tonight, had to cancel it. So yeah, it's really sad because spent so much time planning it.
Perfect one day, cancel the next. Damien Ryan, 9 News.
Victoria's coronavirus cases are trending downward, recording its second lowest daily count in 5 weeks. 182 people testing positive in the past 24 hours. 13 people died, one a man in his 50s, 10 of those deaths linked to aged care facilities. The state's chief health officer estimated that by next week, infection numbers could fall to below 150 a day. In New South Wales, a rare Antarctic blast has turned dozens of towns white as it brought widespread snow across the state. The severe weather and heavy falls forced the closure of major highways but created the perfect playground for locals and tourists.
The snow fell thick and fast in places not even close to the clouds. From Bathurst to Orange, Canberra and the Blue Mountains. Some got a sprinkle, others got a whitewash. At Thredbo, it was a blizzard, and Oberon, well, it looked like a ski resort. They had the biggest snowfall outside the Alps, more than 20 centimetres of fresh powder. It cancelled activities on the calendar, but they were replaced with even better ones. Tourists from Sydney took a chance on the forecast and it paid off.
It just takes your mind away from certain things, especially around COVID and being out and about. So just to take a few hours away to spend with the family, it's great.
Bushland burned in the summer's fires, now decorated with winter's best surprise, 10 days out from spring.
I've never seen snow before.
I've just come out to have a bit of a frolic in the snow.
Making friends in the process.
His name's Frosty.
Across the border in Stanley, just south of Albury, a Joey took shelter in the safest place. The snow was relentless and at times dangerous. Part of the Great Western Highway had to be shut down and other roads too. Even Mount Panorama was slowed down. The snowfall here in Oberon has been so substantial, some places are barely recognisable. Right now, I could be standing on an oval, a tennis court, or even a car park. But if you guessed any of those, you'd be wrong. The golfing green has turned white. To see the beauty came at a cost, though. It was freezing.
It's definitely looking like the coldest day for the Snowy Mountains, Canberra and Orange.
Hannah Sinclair, 9 News.
It seems a world away, doesn't it? Well, coming up in the news, why was a prominent entrepreneur allowed to leave the country to pick up his luxury yacht in Europe? The Russian opposition leader whisked to a German hospital after claims of a local doctor cover-up. Harry and Meghan get to work helping their community through coronavirus. Plus the Aussies leading the way to combat a global shortage.
Sunday, 7 o'clock. TV's greatest challenge is back. All new blockhead couples.
Oh my gosh.
Take on 5 family homes from 5 different decades.
It's home, sweet home. Sweet home, sweet home, sweet home.
Get ready for the most spectacular transformations
The chart.
in the toughest year ever.
I'm shutting it down now.
It all starts Sunday, 7 o'clock on 9.
Australia, find the super rare Gold Little Treehouse book and you'll win a gold edition of Andy and Terry's next book, The 130-Story Treehouse. There's only 100 to be found. Coles, good things, great value.
Steel Line create beautiful roofs made from Colorbond steel that are strong, stylish and long-lasting. For service over and above that on everyone else, see the local roofing experts at Steel Line.
Setting up your four-wheel drive? Header's Track Rider four-wheel drive product range offers a total undercar solution. Perfect for towing and load carrying. Complete with a 2-year, 40,000 kilometre nationwide warranty. Header's, the four-wheel drive undercar experts.
Together, we can all be helping people achieve.
Aim it and pull the trigger.
It's empty.
You're not shooting the bullet. You're catching it.
Whoa.
Jack's wife Jill knows his birthday's just around the corner and needs to find the perfect gift.
Of course, NTF.
Jill knows they service all of the NT and stock all the big brands.
Power tools and fasteners to keep Jack busy.
NTF have it.
Safety equipment to keep Jack safe.
NTF have it.
Do you deliver?
NTF do. Jill made just one stop at NTF. Use the one account, save time and money. NTF, the construction suppliers and power tool specialists. Coolalingga and Berrima.
Welcome back. While some Australians have been left waiting to visit dying relatives, an entrepreneur has been granted an exemption to leave the country to pick up his luxury yacht in Europe. But Joost Stolman has called for the system to be scrapped, saying it's a violation of rights and he shouldn't have been asked for permission to leave.
Airports are deserted and some Australians are desperate to get out. It was difficult for Mickey Chung, whose grandmother was dying in Hong Kong.
I've actually got an email basically just saying, we don't believe this is urgent.
Not so for entrepreneur Joost Stolman, who told 9 News he wanted to pick this up from Europe. Alithia, his new luxury yacht. Australians are banned from leaving unless they get an exemption. Mr Stolman told 9 News he applied for one on May 8 and again on May 19 on the grounds of urgent and unavoidable personal business to collect his yacht, but also to view real estate projects in Greece. The request was granted on May 29.
There cannot be special exemptions for the privileged few and tough rules for everyone else.
The German-Australian citizen agrees. He thinks the exemptions are a violation of rights. As CEO of Tyro Payments, he once hosted Scott Morrison as treasurer.
Thank you very much, yes.
He says he's never been a political donor here and did ask for help with his exemption from his local MP, Liberal Dave Sharma, who told 9 News there was no special treatment and he did not raise the case with Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton. Mr Stolman's plea did fall under one of the 6 criteria for an exemption, but of the more than 100,000 applications made since the pandemic began, around a third have been approved. The businessman won't return to Australia until borders reopen and says he feels for people like Mickey Chung. There is no right to restrict any Australian to visit his dying loved one in his last hour. It is an autocratic measure that endangers our democracy. This is incomprehensible and intolerable. Jonathan Kersley, 9 News.
Donald Trump has slammed the Democrats for holding a gloomy convention, saying where Joe Biden sees American darkness, he sees American greatness. The Democratic presidential nominee gave his first joint interview with running mate Kamala Harris today, saying he would do whatever it takes to stop COVID-19 in America.
So if the scientists say shut it down?
I would shut it down. I would listen to the scientists.
It is the strongest potential action he has proposed to date to tackle the virus. Russia's critically ill opposition leader has been transferred to a German hospital amid fears his suspected poisoning was being covered up by Russian doctors. They had claimed no toxic substances were found in the politician's blood, instead diagnosing him with a medical condition.
German doctors on an international mercy mission, flying into Siberia, where it was feared a patient had become more like a hostage. We certainly cannot trust this hospital, said the wife of Alexei Navalny, before the Russian opposition leader was flown out of the country, bound for Berlin. Allies of the staunch opponent of President Vladimir Putin believe his cup of tea was laced with poison at a Siberian airport before he became violently ill on a plane to Moscow and was then taken to a hospital in the Siberian city of Omsk. It was there doctors claimed they found no poisons in his system and instead diagnosed the 44-year-old with a metabolic disorder caused by low blood sugar levels. That outraged Navalny's supporters, who accused the doctors of being more interested in hiding what caused their patient's condition than trying to treat it.
Like medicine mode off, cover-up operation mode on.
Initially, the hospital blocked attempts to evacuate Navalny, claiming his condition was too unstable. But soon came a change of heart and permission for the leader to be flown to Berlin, where he remains in a coma. The Kremlin now under increasing international pressure to explain exactly what happened to Vladimir Putin's most vocal critic.
We expect a swift, independent, transparent investigation, and if confirmed, those responsible must be held to account.
In London, Ben Avery, 9 News.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have rolled up their sleeves and put on their masks to help out at a school charity event in Los Angeles, handing out nappies, backpacks and clothes to families in need. It was Harry and Meghan's first face-to-face public engagement since lockdown. Next in 9 News, Monster Jail, the notorious serial killer brought to justice after 40 years. California's plea for Aussie help as a raging bushfire sweeps the state. How Catherine is bucking the trend, thriving despite the global pandemic. And from Full House to the Big House, actress Laurie Loughlin is headed to prison.
We exposed a dirty world of greed and power. 3 ministers were caught out and shamed.
He was sacked.
Now, in a shocking new investigation, we got the other side. The cracks go all the way to Canberra. 60 Minutes.
Harvey Norman, your destination for outdoor living, with our new season range on outdoor furniture and barbecues. The latest trends in timber, stone, aluminium and wicker, lounges or dining. Find the perfect solution to complete your alfresco area. A versatile collection for the ultimate in choice. Plus, we've got all your barbecue needs covered. Wood-fire pizza ovens, smokers, charcoal and pellet grills, even outdoor kitchens you can design yourself. Plus, get 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to $500. Now, at Harvey Norman.
Go! More than we have known. We'll see our world has grown. We'll never be alone. You'll be by my side through the lows and highs. Every single time you'll be by my side.
Bored sitting in front of your TV? Head out on the water in a new CJ boat teamed up with Suzuki, the ultimate outboard motor. See the latest Garmin and Humminbird electronics with great advice from the team at Quality Marine, your Suzuki specialists.
Sport is back and the NT's largest cycling event is coming to town. The Sunbuild Top End Grand Fondo includes 145, 109, 60, 25, 10 and 3 kilometre rides. Join a team and get on your bike.
There's a place where wonder awaits, where thousands of years of stories from the Aranda and Aboriginal people have been illuminated and brought to life in one unforgettable experience. See it. Hear it. Feel it. Come lift your spirits at Parchma, a festival in light, 11th to the 20th of September in Alice Springs in Bantwa. Find out more at parchmaaustralia.com.au.
As travel restrictions ease and we are inspired to travel again, it's now time to support one another, support local, support Australia. Air North encourages you to get the family together or a group of your mates and take that epic adventure you've been talking about. So go on, get out there and book that ultimate Australian holiday you have always wanted to do and discover what makes this country so great. To book, head to airnorth.com.au or your favourite travel agent. Air North, together we fly.
She's laying down the law. Hi! Oscar winner Reese Witherspoon. Legally Blonde. Tonight at 7 on 9 Go.
He was known as the Golden State Killer, a serial predator who terrorised California for 2 decades, committing more than a dozen murders and rapes. Today, for the first time, Joseph James D'Angelo said sorry for his crimes as he was sentenced to prison for life.
The East Area rapist, the original Night Stalker, the Golden State Killer. It took 4 decades to catch one of America's most prolific predators, and just as long for any sign of remorse.
And I'm really sorry to everyone I've hurt.
All week, Joseph James D'Angelo had sat emotionless as his survivors recounted his sexual assaults and murders from the 1970s and 80s.
D'Angelo fired 2 shots, hitting my dad.
He raped me. He stole my innocence, my security, threatened my life. I was 13 years old.
Some never got a chance, D'Angelo publicly admitting to other rapes, but because they happened so long ago, he escaped prosecution. The former policeman eventually tracked down via a genealogy website and arrested in 2018, the cold case ending with convictions for 13 murders and 13 sexual assaults.
We are adjourned.
Today's sentencing was the result of a plea deal. Joseph D'Angelo received a guarantee he wouldn't be given the death penalty. In exchange, his victims were finally able to see justice without any further delays. State prosecutors say D'Angelo's apology was an act to gather sympathy, just like the killer's court appearances in a wheelchair. And to prove it, they released a video of him exercising, standing on his desk and even cleaning a jail cell, just like the one where he will now spend the rest of his life.
Finally, the end of this trauma is here. He's a horrible man, and none of us have to worry about him anymore.
In California, Tim Arvia, 9 News.
The Governor of California has asked Australia to help with resources and support as 560 wildfires burn across the state. 12,000 firefighters are battling the blazes, while 6 people have been killed in some of the worst outbreaks near San Francisco. The sky around Santa Cruz has turned a deep shade of orange, causing major breathing problems for residents. Full House actress Lori Loughlin and her husband have been sentenced to 2 months and 5 months respectively in prison for participating in a college admissions scheme. The judge says Miss Loughlin lived a charmed life prior to the crime, calling the scale of fraud breathtaking. Miss Loughlin says she is truly, profoundly and deeply sorry. Catherine is going through a major transformation with several new projects in the pipeline. It's a welcome boost for the town in the midst of a pandemic.
The Cumbidgee restaurant had been closed for more than a decade, but Catherine couple Chris and Carolyn saw its potential and decided to bring it back to life.
It's a beautiful location and we just wanted it.
The couple reopened the restaurant in July when tourism was scarce, but that hasn't stopped their business from booming.
We have seen many more visitors from Darwin, Alice Springs and the outer Catherine area, and that's been really great to meet them all.
It's just one of many new developments in Catherine. Council has spent significant funds to upgrade the hot springs just outside of town, also building a new playground that's proven a hit with families, while the nearby Pop Rocket Cafe is serving up fresh food during the dry season.
It's been a long project, but now that it's there, the turtle's in, people are enjoying it, and the area's looking really good.
Council says there are plenty more projects in the pipeline, including upgrades to the town square, which is hoped to reduce antisocial behaviour and boost activity in the CBD.
To revitalise the CBD, to bring people back into the main centre and just to upgrade it. We're looking forward to a lot more development with the Catherine East Neighbourhood Centre and the agribusiness being developed, as well as our Emungalan Road Bridge.
A welcome boost for a town trying to thrive in the midst of a pandemic. Ainsley Kosh, 9 News.
Up in flames, what sparked this boat inferno on a suburban waterway? Could the COVID pandemic be over in 2 years? New hope from the World Health Organisation. A major travel agency goes into administration, leaving jobs and refunds at risk. What to do if you're owed money? And the unique way a group of Aussies is helping the global coronavirus fight.
In one day, we're bringing this 1910 family home back to life. It all starts Sunday, 7 o'clock.
Make HD Pumps your first choice for sales and service. Domestic, commercial and industrial. We supply, install and repair market-leading brands and can advise on the most efficient solution to suit your needs. HD Pumps, making water work.
Top Ditch Cultural Experience and Art Gallery in Katherine invites you to come and discover a genuine Aboriginal cultural experience. Join our award-winning guide and learn about Indigenous culture and the traditions of rock painting, firelighting with sticks and spear throwing. We also have an extensive range of Aboriginal artwork and didgeridoos for you to view in our gallery. Top Ditch Cultural Experience and Art Gallery. Visit us online at topditch.com or call us to make a booking.
Oh, 2020 is looking amazing. With my optical superstore glasses, I see world peace, fitness in a pill, no traffic jams.
And one pair of multifocal glasses with the latest technology precision lenses and 100% money-back guarantee. At no or low gap for health fund members, see amazing deals at the optical superstore.
Don't just get a forklift, get Toyota's legendary reliability. Get world-leading safety. Get more uptime.
And get more value for your business.
Don't just get a forklift, give your business the Toyota advantage.
Gateway is more than your everyday girls' day out. Get your fashion fix at Ali, JJ's, Bras and Things, Edge and the Kirby range at You and All. Or check out Strand Bags, Bets, Bright Eyes or Lovisa to accessorise in style. Be dazzled by the stunning pieces at Hoskings, Prouds or Michael Hill. A manicure is a must-have or be pampered at one of our many salons. You deserve it. With over 80 stores to indulge in, there's something for every occasion only at Gateway, where you're welcome every day.
No matter what your business, large or small, we know your territory. Gallagher work with thousands of businesses across Australia. From small startups to established brands. We bring our years of insurance knowledge into your world to protect everything you've worked hard for. Any risk, anywhere. Gallagher, insurance, risk management, consulting.
Barbecues galore Darwin at 660 Stewart Highway, Berrima, next to Amart. Entertaining this season, Barbecues galore Darwin have the big brands in modern outdoor living. And now, compare the largest Ziegler and Brown range in Darwin. Explore your own new flavours with Barbecues galore's range of offset smokers and low and slow barbecues. Stock up on wood pellets, wood chips or marinades and proudly share your new flavour profiles. See the huge range at 660 Stewart Highway, Berrima, next to Amart. Barbecue better with Barbecues galore Darwin.
Nine's gripping new drama.
I see you very clearly.
Halifax Retribution starts Tuesday on 9.
A luxury boat has erupted in flames in Queensland. Fire and thick black smoke was sent billowing into the sky. A number of fire crews and the water police were needed to put out the flames. No one was on board the vessel, which was moored on the Gold Coast. The cause of the fire is being investigated. There's optimism tonight from the World Health Organisation, claiming recovery from the pandemic could be less than 2 years away. But the prediction comes amid worrying surges in Europe, Asia and the United States.
They were the hottest of COVID's original hotspots. Spain and Italy, scenes of so much grief in March, now experiencing a surge. But there's hope tonight from Geneva.
So we hope to finish this pandemic before less than 2 years.
The World Health Organization acknowledging a more connected world meant a faster spread of COVID-19, but it should also mean a faster resolution.
Utilizing the available tools to the maximum and hoping that we can have additional tools like vaccine, I think we can finish it in a shorter time.
The call came amidst an outbreak in India that's set to reach 3 million cases and a lockdown in Lebanon. Officials in Beirut declaring 14 days of restrictions, including a curfew, as the virus spread in the chaos that followed the deadly explosion. In the US, another 1,000 Americans dead in 24 hours, now more than 175,000 since the pandemic started, and a new prediction. The figure will be at 300,000 by the end of the year.
And there's more happening around COVID than we sort of expected for this time of the year.
Now, with the northern summer over, schools are returning, but with distance desks and lessons in hand washing, they are not returning to normal.
And there appears to be a difference in transmission by age group, with the younger children able to transmit less than teenagers, for example.
The search for a vaccine, now a race against the northern winter. Charles Croucher, 9 News.
STA Travel's the latest tourism business to fall victim to COVID-19. The agency now in the hands of administrators. The youth travel company once had 70 outlets in Australia, but this year was reduced to just 27. Advice for customers who are still owed money can be found on the ACCC's website. They've been beacons of hope during the pandemic, but machines which keep patients alive are a precious resource, and some countries are struggling to meet demand. Now a local startup's joining forces with the global manufacturing giant to boost production.
The global shortage of ventilators has been one of the biggest concerns in keeping on top of the pandemic and saving lives.
What am I going to do with 400 ventilators when I need 30,000?
As New York's governor was pleading for more, one of the biggest suppliers, Medtronic, shared the design details of one of its machines to the world, so others could make more to ramp up production.
We've had quite a few downloads, 200,000 downloads.
Melbourne-based startup Jigspace also decided to pitch in.
We saw this as a great opportunity for us to do our bit and to leverage our technology.
They worked with Medtronic to provide 3D training guides to manufacturers and users on how to assemble the machines and maintain them.
You're able to see the instructions right there in 3D beside the object. Instead of digging through hundreds of pages of a PDF instruction manual, you can just step through it at your own pace.
Otherwise known as jigs, the additional tools have been popular.
They're being used really widely, and I think the best thing is that we're seeing them used in developing economies as well.
There's no one company that can actually, meet the global demand. So that's been a great collaboration to be able to make that available.
Meanwhile, Medtronic is continuing to boost supplies locally, sending machines to the Royal Melbourne Hospital, where ventilators are lifelines to those in intensive care. Gabriella Rogers, 9 News.
We are live to TIO as fans roll in ahead of tonight's mega Dreamtime clash. The new rising star for the Broncos. McLaughlin extends his supercars lead with a big win in Darwin, and the Olympic effort to move beers across our borders.
What a week we had it today. Oscar winners galore. The extraordinary Oliver Stone joined us. Russell Crowe did too.
A little less snot.
And it doesn't stop. Next week, basketball superstar Ben Simmons drops in. Naked Chef Jamie Oliver and one of Australia's absolute favourites, Rebecca Gibney. Woohoo! We'll see you Monday.
Storm clouds gathering over your business? You'll need help from someone who knows the local law, because every case has a silver lining.
It's time to get your personal tax, rental properties, business tax and bookkeeping in order with the experts. We are the NT Tax Specialists. Find us at the Stuart Park traffic lights or online now at nttaxspecialist.com.au.
Get to that Craig's Fishing Warehouse. 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 Get to that Craig's. You'll be by my side through the lows and highs. single time you were by my side.
Make HD Pumps your first choice for pumps and water industry equipment, domestic or industrial, from pumps and irrigation to pressure cleaners and agricultural spray equipment. We stock only the highest quality energy and water efficient products that you can rely on to get the job done right. Plus, we provide comprehensive installation, repair and electrical services that are second to none. Visit us online at hdpumps.com.au. HD Pumps, Winnelli and Humpty Doo, making water work.
Borroloola Houseboats and King Ash Bay Cabins. Adventure with a touch of luxury. Come and fish the mighty MacArthur River Delta with over 200 kilometres of waterways. So if you want to be where the fish are biting, be on a Borroloola houseboat.
The new look Casuarina All Sports Club. Superb menu, delicious steak menu with entertainment for all ages. Membership available. Come in and see for yourself. Casuarina All Sports Club on Trower Road.
We are Totally Workwear.
And this store is locally owned and operated. We started our business in 2002.
Family-run business. Started as an independent because we are local people. Just speaking to our customers when they come in, what they require. We keep a lot of lightweight products, vented products, which suits the climate up here. Work boots, they do runners now with safety caps on, just like wearing your own daily jogger.
The PPE,
hospitality, chef uniforms, chef shoes,
corporate and the embroidery machines.
Totally Workwear, we do our own embroidery in-house, from getting your digitising set up. We have total control because it's all in-house.
Totally Workwear is definitely a national brand. This store is locally owned and operated.
Owned by local people, employ locals.
And put back into the community. We are Totally Workwear.
Unit 3, 36 Georgina Crescent in Yarrawonga.
Every scandal, every affair, every secret, every single episode. All free and only on 9 Now. Desperate Housewives. Go to 9now.com.au or download the app.
In a first for the Northern Territory, Darwin's playing host to the Dreamtime clash between the Tigers and the Bombers, with kick-off less than half an hour away. Ali Conway joins us now live from Terao, and Ali, I reckon a big crowd will be expected tonight.
Paul, it's another incredibly exciting night for footy fans here in the top end for the very, very first time. The Dreamtime game is going to be hosted here in Darwin between Richmond and the Essendon Bombers here at TIO Stadium. Now, the stadium usually can hold about 12,000 people for an AFL game, but this year, due to COVID-19, 5,400 people will go through the gates, and those tickets got snapped up in minutes. Of course, tonight's game is going to be extremely special for some of our local lads, the likes of Daniel Rioli and Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody. He will be running out onto the field, which they know so well. They obviously grew up here playing the game, and they're obviously used to the humid conditions here as well. A lot of fans have travelled right around the Territory to come out here, and of course this isn't the last game people will be able to see in the Territory this season. We'll have Saints taking on Melbourne down in Alice Springs next round.
Ali, just great. Yeah, thank you very much. A tight game expected, no doubt. Collingwood's bracing for life without Steele Sidebottom. Monday's clash with the Roos, potentially his last for the season. While the star midfielder will return home for the birth of his first child, there's mixed news on the selection front.
While the Magpies have made a nest on the Sunshine Coast, clearly they've unsettled the locals, with these plovers intent on protecting their patch.
I was doing a little bit of sheepdogging just to make sure that they weren't swooping our one of our groups.
Steele Sidebottom will take flight as early as Tuesday, departing the hub to be with pregnant partner Alicia, with no guarantee he'll return for a possible finals tilt.
We don't have a best case scenario at this point. Best case scenario is first and foremost that everyone's happy and healthy.
A training scare for Taylor Adams, but he is expected to tackle North Melbourne, with fit-again pair Jaden Stevenson and Jordan Roughhead also available. Brodie Myercheck failed his concussion test, opening the door for a Mason Cox recall. Or maybe not.
Both Coxie and Max Lynch have been playing pretty well. Max Lynch in particular in the ruck has been playing really well.
Despite their recent capitulation to premiership contenders Geelong, the Saints hold no fear against the second-place Lions tomorrow.
We're a team that's in the 8 and we've got an opportunity to stay there, and I think it's more about we respect the opposition, but the belief that we can have about where we want to go and what we can achieve.
Carlton is inching closer to the top 8 thanks to a 33-point win over the Suns in the top end, and it's got the skipper pumped up.
We're prepared for a battle each week, and I think that's the most pleasing thing. That Cripper's comments was more about just the consistent effort that we're bringing.
And Geelong has made 5 changes ahead of its encounter with Adelaide tomorrow. Skipper Joel Selwood and Zach Toohey will miss through injury, with Harry Taylor rested. Braden Ingram, 9 News.
To the NRL, and Tom Dearden has been hailed a shining light in a dismal Broncos season. Last night, the 20-year-old halfback showed he has the makings of a future star, but it wasn't enough to help the Broncos avoid a 6th straight defeat.
This is going to put them a good grounding for them in the future. They'll definitely cherish the wins.
It was the first 6 minutes that proved costly, conceding 2 soft tries.
Too easy, Corey Norman.
Brisbane didn't fold though, fighting back thanks to some of their youngest stars. Captain Pat Carrigan was a monster in the middle. Tom Dearden stood up late.
Something out of nothing for the young half.
He's a shining light for us. Yeah, there's been few and far between them this year, and he's definitely one of them.
Yeah, mate, he stood up tonight, Tommy. I thought he played really well, and I thought he's been good from the last few weeks and losing side. So, I think he's got a bright future ahead of him, young Tommy.
Dearden might need to carry more of the load, with Anthony Milford failing to finish the game after re-injuring his hamstring.
He was keen to stay on. We've pretty much got him off. Yeah, that's Milf for you.
Clubs don't do pre-seasons from November or whatever to go out there and get a wooden spoon.
Mark Gottlieb, 9 News.
Scott McLaughlin has extended his Supercars Championship lead with a dominant win in race 1 of the Darwin Super Sprint ahead of pole sitter Jamie Whincup. The Ford driver now leads the championship by 109 points. Jeff Horn hopes a vocal Townsville crowd will be the difference when he faces Tim Zhu in the ring.
It's always great to have the crowd support. I'd had a horrible time in Vegas with the crowd not being against me.
Zhu and Horn got a taste of what conditions will be like on Wednesday, sweating it out in an open training session today. Ahead in 9 News, live to Mindle Beach for your latest weather details. And one Olympian's mission to stop coronavirus closures from turning off the taps.
Back to the future.
Everyone loves a good crime thriller.
Yeah.
I'm an armchair detective.
TV Golden Girl and Gold Logie winner Rebecca Gibney returns.
Jane, it's been a long time.
Halifax Reborn.
Finally, we get to bring her back.
With these famous faces.
She's a great actress.
So I got to be a part of this one.
A current affair next.
This Father's Day at BCF, we've recruited some dads to tell their families what they want in our TV ads.
I want a kayak.
'Cause giving Dad what he wants is BCF in fun.
It's back, the ultimate cheesy garlic bread sub. Make your favourite sub inside hot, cheesy garlic bread. Give in to the ultimate cheesy garlic bread sub. Give in to fresh, give in to Subway.
We're heading back to the Hidden Valley. One final weekend of Supercars action to become king in the NT. Presenting the Core Staff Darwin Super Sprint. Tickets from $35. Children 13 years and under go free. Buy now at Ticketek and at darwinsupercars.com.au.
Eleni knows Paddy loves to stay active. And so does Willow. Stangelin knows Michael always keeps a clean home. Because his family video calls him every week. Chris knows Ian likes taking the scenic route to his appointments because the beach reminds him of his childhood. At Southern Cross Care, knowing what's important to you means we can tailor our home support services to help you live better for life in your own home.
To help slow the spread, download the COVID Safe app so we can all get back to the things we love sooner.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yeah. Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality. Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered. with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
We're working on something bigger than we've ever done before. It's bigger than this, and this, and even this. We're creating over 200,000 jobs by investing in Australia. That'll help get our super and the economy growing again. And if you're with one of these, you're a big part of it.
At Coles, you can lower the cost of your weekly shop with thousands of specials across the store this week, like kettle potato chips, now half price, and John West tuna tempters, also half price. Coles, good things, great value.
Clint Eastwood is on the trail to justice.
They'll get what the law says is coming to them.
Hang 'em high tonight on Night Jam. This weather alert brought to you by Fridgelec, your Dakin air conditioning specialists.
Well, the best laid plans of mice and men. We were to go to beautiful Mindle Beach with Zarisha Bradley for the weather, but a technical glitch means you're here with me, so let's get stuck into it, shall we? Certainly was a warm one today, 31, but it was a little less humid, and we can see that right now it's 23 degrees. The east-northeasterlies reached 25 kilometres an hour. They've weakened into the evening. Let's have a look at the satellite picture. The only cloud coverage is in the southeast corner of the country. There's a complex low near Tasmania, and that's creating a cold front. And way to the left, down the bottom of your screen there, a low pressure system sits off the WA coast. For the capitals, fine in Brisbane and Sydney, showers for Adelaide and Melbourne. Perth, tops of 19 and a shower or two. Back home, a 24-hour total fire ban has been issued from midnight in Darwin and Adelaide River. Catherine will reach a top of 35 degrees. A little warmer in Humpty Doo and Palmerston. Further south though, Tennant Creek, a charming 29. Alice Springs, fine at 25, Yulara 28. On the harbour, seas below a metre. Northeast to southeasterly winds 15 knots in the morning, becoming variable in the afternoon. High tide of 7.5 metres around 9 a.m, dropping to just over a metre after 3 in the afternoon. Tomorrow, expect patchy morning fog in Palmerston and a little less humidity. Humpty Doo, also less humid with light winds. Darwin, hot 35. So the next 7 days, looking at more sunny skies on the way, tops reaching the mid-30s. Well, it's feeling a lot more like the dreaded build-up has arrived, and we will see now about quenching the thirst during that build-up. Best known for his fairy tale finish, Stephen Bradbury has his eyes on a different prize. The Olympic hero spearheading a push to make moving freight across our borders easier during the pandemic, as he fights to keep his beer business thriving.
Olympian Stephen Bradbury skated his way into history as the last man standing. Now he's turned his attention to brewing.
Our market before COVID was based on taps in pubs, but we've been forced to quickly transition as a new business that's only a year old to getting our beer into cans and cartons.
With most states trying to limit the number of people crossing their borders to stop the spread of coronavirus, he's turned to trains to ship his beer to Brisbane from Melbourne.
During the current pandemic that we're living in, rail freight uses less points of contact, border crossings are easier and that type of thing.
And as authorities try to avoid more outbreaks, the rail industry says it offers a safer freight option. A 1,500-metre train can carry 220 shipping containers, equivalent to 90 B-doubles.
So that means fewer truck trips across the borders and obviously fewer people movements across state borders as well.
But rail moves only 5% of freight between Sydney and Brisbane and just 1% between Melbourne and Sydney.
On the eastern seaboard, I think, yeah, certainly we're under threat.
Rail freight operators say government access charges have been increasing every year and now account for roughly 30% of their costs, while trucking companies are given a free run on interstate highways.
We're not asking for a favour, we're just asking for a fair go so we can compete with road freight on a level playing field.
We do need, of course, to help our transport industry through this situation, and that's what we've been doing.
But transport companies say long-term reform is needed to keep Australia's ales on the rails. Andrew Lund, 9 News.
And that is our special edition of 9 News, Darwin. Thanks for joining us. Stick around, though. Throughout the evening, your friend and mine, Jonathan Upton, will be here with election updates as the results of election 2020 come in. Tip and Woody to bag 4, the Tigers to win, however. Remember, if that comes true, you heard it here first. That's it from us. I'm Paul Taylor. Good night.